What's up, world? It's your boy George Duvall here with my co-author Derek Humphrey with one of the best-selling books on Amazon, Kindle, and
Barnes & Noble.
That's right. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to do an interview about this book. So Derek is actually going to interview me and the purpose about the book and where we go from there. But make sure you join us on Twitter at Duvall George and
at Derek Humfleet.
And look us up on Facebook, Eastside Projects and
Eastside Projects blog at WordPress.com.
Yeah, we're going to do all kinds of different blogs, different things, because we want to get youth that are in foster care and people that have gone through things to understand. So I'm going to back off real quick and just answer the questions that my co-author has for me. So you want to show them the book real quick?
One more view of the book. George, one thing anybody that's going to read the book is going to see is that there's a lot of adults in your life that have come alongside you and helped you out. Explain how you developed those relationships and why those relationships were important to you.
When talking about the relationships about the adults that have been in my life and where I'm at right now, they were important because they made an effort to me as a kid who grew up troubled. And when I saw that they made an effort to me, it was like I had to make an effort towards them. And for over 30 years, these people have continued to follow me when they could have left me a long time ago, Derek. A long time ago.
Yeah, and your journey through foster care ended on a pretty good note. We know there's kids out there who go through foster care and it leaves kind of a sour taste in their mouth. Can you give them some words of advice on how to turn their situation around and how to make their experience better?
The one advice I would give, or advice I would give to anybody that's coming through foster care, is when you learn to love yourself, life will become better. Is it easy? Nah, man. Nah, not at all. But once you love you, it changes everything. You can walk past that mirror and enjoy who you are. And it's no different. You know, you can say foster care, whatever. I mean, it's no different than when anybody that's grew up in a tough situation, they figure it out. But you should never allow the stereotype of foster care to hold you down. Believe in yourself. Believe in what it is that you want to do and value who you are, no matter whether you have a person like my angel and my foster family or not. You have to believe in you, period.
And one thing the book talks about and deals with is, as an adolescent, you were also living in an interesting part of the country where there was nobody else like you. Mm-hmm. And some of these foster kids are going to have similar situations where they're going to be in a situation where there's nobody else like them. How can they fit in? How can they make friends? How can they develop relationships that will help them survive and thrive in foster care?
It's one of this. When the situation I was in, growing up in an area where I was the only black kid, mm-hmm. you know, and living with the white family, what do? You know, can I continue to be this thug that I was before? No, because I don't have the streets. You know, they lived in the country. So I overcompensated, and the book talks about that, about my comedy, about me, you know, trying to figure out a way. I played sports. I did what I had to do to make sure I survived. My advice to anyone and any parent or any youth that are in care, find out who you are. Never be afraid and never allow the system to hold you down. It's one of those type of things where it was tough. It was tough for me, Derek, to tell you the truth. It was tough for me to find out who I was because of my history. But I stopped blaming myself. And as I point to you, anybody in foster care, stop blaming yourself. You did not wake up and say, oh, I want to be in foster care today. Stop blaming yourself and look towards your future. Your history was not created by you. Your book of life. But how it ends with this. An author who was told that I would be dead or in prison by the time I was 13. And LD, learning disability, and BD, bad behavior. Is that right?
BD?
Yeah, well, you know, I may have messed up on that.
I don't know. One thing I've noticed in your life, there's been lots of occasions where you've had to, in a way, turn the other cheek. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know a lot of times foster kids, that they act out because they've never learned to turn the other cheek. How did you develop that habit?
What does being mad do? What does being mad do? It means nothing. If you're not living forward, then there's no purpose there. I turned the other cheek because I learned from the people, the adults in my life, that I have to look forward and not live where I'm at right now. That's the point. So if you really want to survive and live your life in the best way, I've got 3 kids that will never see foster care. They will not. Mm-hmm. They have a father, they have a mother, and I am there involved in their life. So what I did was I turned the other cheek. But it was one of those type of things where you got to learn when to walk away and when not to walk away. It's easy to be angry. It's easy. That's the easiest thing that you will ever have.
And you mentioned comedy. Is comedy a way to kind of ameliorate the anger that you faced in your life?
Yes.
Or to make it better?
It did both.
Okay.
It did both. Comedy was a way that I was able, that's what I used as my tool to get by. In the toughest situations, when it got hard, I try to find a way to make people laugh, make myself laugh, and ignore who I was as a person. And you know, it helped. You know, I mean, comedy was the way that I proposed to my wife. I mean, comedy has taken me all over the United States and soon all over the world. No.
We've talked quite a bit about foster kids. Let's turn a little bit and talk about. We have more
time too. I can build that. But go ahead.
We can talk about foster parents now.
Yeah.
What advice do you have to foster parents who are interested in adopting older foster children who are coming out of bad situations like you were?
Hey, listen. I'm gonna tell you something. If anyone in the foster care world knows that the hardest situation is to place a kid that is a teenager, because the foster care world, business world, tells foster parents, we can't do nothing with them. It's over. I mean, they're 14, 15, 16, and what can we do to change them? But my parents, man, let me tell you something. They took me in at 16. They made me their kid. They did not allow the system to make them. So if I would say to foster parents, don't allow the system to make you if you love your child that comes into your home. You know, it's one of those type of things where you see parents that join the business of foster care. There's a difference. Do you want the business aspect?
I just, people who are interested in going into foster care, they need to have some expectations.
Yeah.
Because if they have the proper expectations, they're not going to be disappointed.
All my expectation would be is love. Give them love. Take their flaws understand their flaws, and then show them a different way so they don't live in their flaws. So foster parents to me are some of the greatest people I've ever met. And if you've never been in foster care, you can't understand. Mm-hmm. And I would tell all the foster parents, don't explain to people that are not foster parents about what you do. Because this guy years ago in Hawaii said over 90% of everything that's talked about foster care is negative. So how can you expect someone that's not been in your position to understand what you do? See, my parents, I love them. Mm-hmm. They're my parents, man. I mean, that is to the death. I just saw them. This is what, June 12th. I just saw them a couple of days ago. Foster parents, it's a gift. You have the opportunity to change a young person's life. You chose to be foster parents. A kid didn't wake up and say, hey, I'm going to foster care. You know? But the gift at the end is what you see right here. You can show them the book again. Let's do it. I'm just saying.
And how would you encourage foster parents who are interested in coming alongside older kids? What issues are they going to face, and how can they handle those issues?
Well, my opinion is this. You are dealing with young people, the teenagers. Are you going to step up? What advice can I give? Is if you want to take on teenagers, all you have to do, in my opinion, is just talk to them, respect them, try to understand their history, try to understand where they want to go.
Okay. Thank you, George, for your time.
No, thank you, Derek, for your help.
No problem.
Sorry that I'm all sweaty.
It's starting to get warm out here.
But I'm hot. We'll see you at
Eastside Projects
Yep.
At WordPress.com, or on Twitter, or on Facebook at Eastside Projects.
Yep. And at Duval George.
That's what.
And we out here.